Hello, 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 hello. How are we? Greetings. Very rare afternoon stream for me today. I have been going through my flyer folder, looking for some other bits and pieces, and I came across a whole heap of old flyers from 1993 onwards, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to capture them with a live stream. And if anyone's watching and these evoke any memories for you, then do feel free to leave me a message and we can talk about what they remind you of. We'll be talking about some of the local legends. This is live on Facebook and I'm going to be reloading it to my YouTube. So if you are watching it on YouTube, then if there's anything that you want to comment on, then please do leave me a message. I can see I got a few people with me on Facebook, so good afternoon. I'm fully aware it is a Thursday morning and most people are supposed to be working, so you may struggle to comment, but enjoy what you see anyway. So let me begin. As you will know, I do my live broadcasts every Monday. Been doing some pretty interesting conversations. Just had a fantastic interview with Pete Gooding and Phil Doherty from Birmingham. They brought up a lot of subjects, a lot of topics, and a lot of occasions that I really wanted to butt in with some of my own tales, but it's all about listening to their story. So, you know, the opportunity for me to share some of my words are few and far between because, as I say, I'm there to interview the guests. So these few flyers will enable me to share this information with you. So let's crack on, shall we? First of all, the reason why I found this flyer, on Monday coming up, I'm going to be interviewing Sam Bowery, who is the manager of Venus in Nottingham, and also Mr. Christian Woodyer, who is a resident DJ, as well as many other venues in Nottingham. I went looking for my Venus membership card, which you can see here, and that was what enabled me to find the rest of all of these flyers. So this is 1992. I had spoken about this ever so briefly before when I was documenting my early rave days from 89 to 92. So these two membership cards, a few membership cards I'm going to skip through. So 1992, 3019 membership number. Some early Southport Weekenders cards. Prestatin 5, that was the first one we ever went to. I'm repeating a lot of this. If you look for my Raving Lost Diaries on my YouTube channel, you can get the full story on all of these. So I'm just going to skip through them all because they're in the slideshow. Branston's, that's the venue where Wobble used to be in Birmingham. Breathless, possibly at Snobs. Steering Wheel. Good morning, Fozzie. 15 minutes break is going to catch the rest on replay. Good to have you along, mate. There's going to be a lot of events here that you'll recognise. So that's the Steering Wheel Club 1995 to 1996. These are in no particular order. I was almost sick in my mouth then for some reason. I have no idea why. Possibly thinking about some of the big nights at the Steering Wheel. So 1995, 1996 at the Steering Wheel. Harmony membership card, that's at the Institute. I'm not sure what that is actually. There was a Harmony UK garage party that I played at. I'm not sure if that's it. Anyway, golden membership card. What's that there? That was just something that I scanned at the same time as my flyers. Stripograms, remember them? I've showed this photo before on Facebook. That was my 21st, I think, 21st birthday party on my lunch break. Es Paradis, a sticker that I had, much treasured first visit to Ibiza. Here we've got a Marco Polo's flyer. Let me make this a little bit larger so we can read it. Karen, good morning. The stiff ice is -3 over there. Wow, it was a bit cold this morning on my way to the gym actually. So I don't envy you that at all. Okay, so Marco Polo's, people who listen to my radio show, they'll hear me talk about this all the time. And this was a flyer that I redesigned. Not actually sure of the year. So this is going to be my first opportunity. No, it isn't because there aren't any dates on there. I'd hazard a guess and say this is 95 or possibly 1996. So front and back, side by side. Hiya, Scott. I know you'll pop back in and check out the recording. I got some flyers with your name on, mate. So I'll be happy to talk about those events. So yeah, Marco Polo's major relaunch notice. It was designed to look like a parking ticket. I actually got in, this was a really good bit of marketing actually. I got in trouble with the police because what we would do is go around sticking these under all of the windscreens, under the windscreen wipers on all of the cars in and around Birmingham on a Friday and Saturday night. And people would come out of the club thinking they got a parking ticket, and they'd have a chuckle to themselves and have a look on the back. And here you can see Marco Polo Bar, music for the masses. Tuesday night, that was an idea that I had that I'd completely forgotten about actually. A chance for all bedroom DJs to play to a crowd. Ring now for your first date. So that was me giving the opportunity for people wanting to get their names on a flyer, wanting the opportunity to get to play out. That was what we did on a Tuesday. Wednesday nights was Shoxy playing ambient jungle and intelligent drum and bass. DJ Sparrow on Thursdays, Joseph and Leighton on a Friday and a Saturday. They were the residents. DJ Joseph was the guy who got me into Marco's, and I worked side by side with him, Leighton, James Dean, for a long time, and a lot of other names that we're going to see as we're going along. Morning, Chris. How are you, sir? Fridays and Saturdays, I just said. Sunday afternoons, this was the big one for Marco's. 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. The place to meet and chew the fat, mellow background accompaniment. Now, I'm not sure, because Marco's used to begin at 7 a.m. So maybe things started to slow down when this flyer came out and we only opened at 11. I can't remember. The place to meet and chew the fat, mellow background accompaniment. And then Sunday evenings from 7 till midnight, that was my night. That was where I put my stamp on Birmingham. 7 o'clock till midnight. Join Andy Ward for the most talked about underground garage night in the Midlands. 3 decks, 2 rooms. So that was the Marco. As I say, 95, 96, I'd hazard a guess on that one. Let me skip forward. This Kid Promotions presents Peel Me Off the Ceiling, a party. Actually, Chris, does this ring a bell? Hippo at Bridlesmith Gate in Nottingham. Not sure, I'm going the wrong way. No, I'm not. So Saturday, the 30th of November was the grand opening night. Fat Tony, Andy Carroll, Keith Baxter, Gravity Wheel. 7th of December, alongside Miss Moneypenny's resident Simon Owen, was yours truly, in brackets there, Club UK, and then Keith Baxter from a night called Tees, Alfredo's, Keith Baxter again, Adrian Lovedup, Guy Ornadell, and Keith Baxter. In the second room each and every week, Gary McDowell and Steve Abraham playing the best in American garage. DJs Alan Henderson and Sean Pearson. Pretty says she used to go to the Nottingham one. Chris was down in London at Club UK. 3 decks, 2 rooms. Yeah, that's right. Piss off, Danny. Good morning. So what I've found is there is a tool. Let me go over to my browser. There's a site. Let me show you this. easycalculation.com/date day. So it's basically easy. Let me copy this and paste it into the into here. I'm not going to bother, but it's there. easycalculation.com. And what you can do is when you know what the day and the date is, and the month, you can find out what the year is. So I didn't actually do a lot of these beforehand. So November, Saturday, the 30th of November, and I click a button and it's going to tell me all the years that brings up. So 1991 or 1996. This is definitely 1996. It wouldn't have been 1991 because I wasn't on any flyers in 1991. So that is Peel Me Off the Ceiling, 1996 in Nottingham. Morning, Emily. Right, I'm going the wrong way now. So here we go. I'll flick forward again. I'll shrink this one down so you can see. This is the party called Crunch in Birmingham. I'll lose that website details. Crunch in Birmingham. I go back. Actually, no, it isn't Crunch in Birmingham. It's in Nottingham. So again, this is at Hippo. So I was resident DJ at Crunch in Birmingham every second Friday. Reading this now, I would assume that this was a Crunch on the road kind of thing. Emily's working hard as usual. Good morning, Katrina. How are you? Good morning, Phil. So yeah, the Conservatory Bar in Nottingham. DJs, Wednesday the 1st of March. John Hollis and Mark Jarman. Mike Wood, Yassa and John. Myself on the 22nd of March. So I would say this was 1995. I'm going to just double check. Wednesday the 22nd of March. Yeah, I was right. 1995, because in 1995 was when I had my residency at Bagley's. So all of these flyers, depending on where I was kind of highlighted at the time, that's where you find my name in the brackets. Bagley's spelt wrong. And then from Wolverhampton, Adam TC and Errol Russell. Right, so that's Peel Me Off the Ceiling. So that's at the same venue where Peel Me Off the Ceiling was, and then a 4-week break during April 1995. Crunch jumped in there. I'm pretty safe she used to go to Hippo too. Come back over to here. So this is Scott Cornwell, who regularly comments on a lot of my posts, joins me regularly to check out the radio show. This was where Scott and I would have met back in 1994 in Walsall, the venue Upper Hall Lane. As you can see, Saturday the 5th of November, DJ Scott, the man himself. 12th of November, yours truly, Varna Records, Mark Kidd, Steve Moore, Richard Eden, Bournemouth's #1 DJs. I'm going to go back and tag all of these guys, or if you know any of the people, tag them. And then resident DJs, Jem Atkins and Scott. So Chris Sims say, I never knew you played Bagley's. My best mate was flats with Ariel. Yes, Bagley's, I had a residency there. Long story short, I was asked to play at Bagley's one month. I put some posters up around Marco Polo's, seeing if anybody wanted to come down with me. I ended up selling 250 tickets. I took 5 coaches down from Birmingham, and they were like, Andrew, would you like to be our resident? So I had a monthly residency down there. Ariel, if I remember correctly, used to play more of a progressive sound, right? He was resident there at the same time as myself. Bloody hell, the venue right by the Light District. Okay, let me just close something down because something's decided to go weird on this chat. Why can't I see that? So you'll have to bear with me when you're typing now, because I can't see something there. Someone just Lawrence Malice. I don't know what you mean there, Chris. Anyway, let's crack on. So yeah, Club Orange, and Scotty's saying, I'm glad you're still here. He said that was mine and Jem's first night together. So hopefully, I can't stop messing about. No, that's not the. No, there's no front of that flyer, unfortunately. So here we have SAS Promotions in conjunction with Marco Polo's. This was 2 till 8 o'clock. So after Marco's used to finish on a Sunday morning, these guys jumped in trying to piggyback off the success. And as you can see here, resident DJs, Mark Jarman, John Turnbull and John Smith. Regular appearances from John Hollis, Jem Atkins, Patrick Smooth, DJ Ryan and Tony Price. John Smith, unfortunately, was... See, I'm questioning myself now while I'm here live, but I'm fairly certain John Smith was tragically killed in a car accident. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that's that's John Smith. Forgive, that sounds ridiculous for me to say that, but as I'm talking out loud and I'm kind of on autopilot, I'm questioning myself. Chris Sims, Lawrence Malice. Yeah, I've no idea. I've no idea. Half of these are a blur to me, mate, as I'm sure you can imagine. Right, let's shrink this one down. This is a good one. So here, Fridays, starting the 26th of July. This was 1996. Moving and grooving with the very best upfront and underground garage and house grooves. So you see, 1996, there's no talk of UKG on any of these flyers, even though we were playing the beginnings of what was UKG at the time. 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. at Bonds nightclub. That was on a Friday. Bonds was the home of Miss Moneypenny's on a Saturday, as everybody will know. So let me go back to the reverse of the flyer. Release the Pressure, Unleashed. Myself and Patrick Smooth were residents on rotation every other Friday. So on the 26th of July, Bettina Constanzo, T. Smith, yours truly, and Lee T. The following Friday, Smoothie would take over, and then it was Danny Foster and Mark Hogg alongside Mark D. Dana Down, Stuart Pattinson, myself and Dave Bennett, Victor Simonelli, Tony Walker, Smoothie and Marcus Anthony, Ricky Morrison, Dean Savon, Paul Spring, 95 North, Frankie Fonsit and DJ Eric. This was the event that Paul Spring would come up from, or otherwise known as Paul Groove nowadays, come up from London, managing the night, and that's how we became very good friends. There's the front of the flyer again, and another one, Stop Press, US House and Garage every Friday night. This is at the same time that I got onto the radio as well. So Release the Pressure was the name of the night at Buns, and I called my Friday night radio show the pre-release showcase. So any of the DJs that were in Birmingham coming to play at this event would come on my radio as a precursor, and the show was sponsored. So you can see all of the names here. Mark Fenton says back to back in brackets. I'm sure that's meant to say back to basics. I wasn't the flyer designer then. I couldn't design flyers to save my life. Everton, that aka Daddy Evie, Nick Rourke. Yes, it was John Smith, right? I was correct. I remember he had his crash in his red Toyota. I remember actually hearing about the crash when I was on my way up to Southport with Schoolie, and I heard about a crash. And for some reason, John just came straight into my head, and then we found out that he was killed when he hit a tree. So carrying on, as you can see, a bit of history here. J. Joseph on the flyer, in brackets, Spoonie, spelt wrong again. So before we spoke about this when I had Spoonie on one of the Inspire and Be Inspired conversations, he wasn't always known as Spoonie. And then Stingray from Wolverhampton and Jeff Allen. Smoothie, Lee Wright, back to back. That's definitely back to basics. DK and Eric X. Shout out to DK. Shout out to DK's nephew as well, who's been commenting on all of my videos. Big up, big up. And Scott from Newcastle, Shindig, the Groove Committee, and Everton again. Just taking time to read these comments. Steve Jones says, I always remember you getting me a guest spot on Choice FM. Yes, yes, yes. Ed to Ed. Back to work, looking forward to catching up on the rest. Yes, Fozzie. Ed to Ed. So when you're talking about this, when you're making comments, guys, bearing in mind that I might be seeing them a little later, so try and put some context on what you're saying, because otherwise I get a little bit confused, and you know it's not difficult to confuse my little brain. Right, let's carry on. I'll make this big at. Is there a front to this? No. So, Pipkins, 19th of March, 1994. So, I was still playing slightly tougher music in 1994. A quote from William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Pipkins, Greg Fenton, Joseph. He was the resident DJ for Marco's, as I say. I'm just looking at where the venue was. Does it say on here? 28? No, I don't think it. Oh, this was a an event that hadn't actually been announced. I think it was a dodgy warehouse event. This might have been the precursor to Cabello, if I remember correct. Or no, it can't be, because actually looking at this, it says Cabello on the flyer. DJ D, Mark Jarman and Dave Simmons. Now, quite funny on here. Let me zoom into this. It says here, Andy Ward, up your front. Now, there's, as many people will know, there is an Andy Ward in Leeds who was a much bigger DJ before me at the time, and so his name would appear regularly in Mixmag and on a lot of other flyers. And people would say to me, "I saw your name in Mixmag." I was like, "No, that's not me." So at some point, this is a little up your front came about as opposed to up your Bronson. I've no idea why. Good morning, Janie. Good morning, Vish. How are you, Vishnu? Loving the show. Happy New Year. Glad to see you here. I'm enjoying just going through these. It's always nice to have people with me live to be able to reminisce and discuss any memories that they bring up. People on YouTube, thank you again, and please do continue to comment as we're going through this. Okay, so Ed to Ed, this was what Scott was talking about. This, I believe, is one of the first flyers that I would have been proud to have been on. Now, Eddie was a very good friend of mine from Walsall. He had a clothes shop, and he put on this party, the Ping Pong Club, and he got me on there. So I was already playing at Marco's, but I do remember being very, very happy to get to spin at this party. So the resident DJs were Glenn Aston, Sarah, Nick Rourke and Paul Taylor. And this was at the Fifth nightclub in Warsaw. I'm chuckling to myself because many people who were born in the early 70s will remember the Fifth nightclub. I'm sure maybe Emily, I'm not sure if it was still around as you were coming up, but yeah, it was quite a Sharon and Tracy club. And then you can see £3 to get in before 11, £3.50 after. I'm just caught my attention there. My lips look out of sync ever so slightly. I'm not going to worry about that. December 1993, Tony DeVee, should I say, Mark Hughes and Craig Fields. Big up the Tiger. It's good being back in touch with Mark Hughes. I'll see him in a couple of weeks in Tenerife. Yes, Emily says, fucking hell, the Fifth. Legendary. So let me shrink this down so we make sure it's on there. And Scott says, he remembers Fifth from his school days. I thought he was going back to work, Scott. I know it was Fozzie who was going back to work. Okay. So here we have a night called Bubble. This was my residency at Branston's. Branston's, the home, again, I'll talk about this a lot, the home of Wobble, on a Saturday. So what happened is local Birmingham promoters, John Hollis and his cronies, and then Matt and his cronies, they alternated every second Friday in the month. First and third Fridays were Crunch. Second and fourth Fridays were Bubble, or the other way around. Anthems and club classics, pretty much all of the same DJs would appear on a lot of these flyers. Crunch was arguably the more successful of the two parties, but we still had some good fun at Bubble. So as you can see, residents Joseph, Mark Jarman, Andy Ward. Guests Tony Sanchez, Ian Fox and James Dean. Aid Wilcox, all right, brother. He's saying 50p a drink a night on a Wednesday, and some really shady pubs in Warsaw. Yes, indeed. So where did I get to? January the 20th, January the 3rd, again, all the residents, I don't need to repeat. Jules from Derby, Pete McKenzie and Neil Tandy. I think Neil was from Wolverhampton. And on the 17th of February, so this is probably 95 or 96. Let me just double check. So I did say it was Friday, didn't I? January. Friday. Check the date. 1992. No, that couldn't have been. So maybe 97 then. Really? Okay. I thought it was earlier than that. Oh, well, if it is a 1 year anniversary, actually, that probably does make sense. So Joseph Underwood, Phil Gifford, John Hollis and Fionn Anthony. Now, Fionn Anthony, we were just talking about the Bagleys. Mud Club was the name of the party on the Saturday that I was resident for. Fionn Anthony was also another of the residents. And obviously I brought Fionn up to come and spin at Bubble. And as you can see, they're given a lot of love. 1 year old today, freebies throughout the night. Respect to the Wobble Crunch, Marco Polo, Bakers, Factor 16, Zach and Gary, Sam and friends, and all the party people who have created such a wonderful atmosphere. Nice, nice, nice. The Dirty Duck, and what was the name around the corner of the side of Debenhams? I don't know. I stayed as far away from Walsall as I can. The City Slickers in Walsall. City Slickers, that was the nightclub that I was thinking of that Michelle used to go to all the time. City Slickers. She's what did she call herself? The Yamo Youth, because they all used to be shouting out at the top of their voices, Yamo be there. The Pen and Wig. Janie Bean says loved the Mud Club. So yeah, forgive me for repeating myself, but I had a residency at Mud Club for Bagleys for about 18 months, and so yeah, Scott was saying Crunch was weekly in 97. So maybe it did. Maybe Bubble fizzled out. Maybe the bubble burst. And then Crunch went weekly. That probably is more than likely than what happened. Your collective memories will be a lot better than mine. So there we go. Let's shrink this down and crack on. So UK Midlands, I completely forgot all about this. Wolverhampton. I'm not sure if Charlie Chester was running it by then or someone else was running it, or did Charlie Chester open it? I can't remember. I do remember Charlie Chester was in there at one point. Maybe Aid, you can confirm this for me, brother. Aid was a 5-year residence at City Slickers. I just got a message of Kieran subscribing to my YouTube channel. Respect. Okay, so I'm losing my train of thought here. UK Midlands, as I say, this is 1996. Let me make this bigger. You don't really need to see my face. Okay, you can see my face a little bit. Saturday, the 5th of October, 1996. Looking over on the right-hand side, UK Midlands, every Saturday from 9 until late. And if you look down the very bottom, you can see in the garage room on a weekly basis, myself and Ian Warman were residents playing Soulful House and the beginnings of the UK garage, nice and ripe sound. Farley Jackmaster Funk, Craig Campbell, Mark Rowley, Danny Briatette, Renegade Soundwave. Okay. Clockwork Orange. So Aid, you'll definitely resonate with all of this, won't you? Pete Tong, Jeremy Healy, Lisa Loud, Angel, Andy Manston, Ashley James, Dean Thatcher, Andy Ward and James Mack. Don't even remember that at all. I remember playing. The only thing I remember about Club UK. Okay, so UK Midlands Club UK, did it change its name at some point? Is doing a radio show. The radio show's got nothing to do with it. Frank Bruno was booked to play alongside Nigel Benn, and I remember Frank Bruno being stood behind the turntables, and someone was bent down behind him, doing the mixing and everything, and Frank Bruno was pretending to mix, and we were all in uproar about it. Nigel Benn did a good set. He was a good DJ. But yeah, that was one of my only memories, really. And there was a Club UK in Ipswich. Vishnu is saying. Andy Smith, Portishead, so some really big names here. Brandon Block, Graham Gold. We were happy in the other room. I wouldn't have been in that main room. Princess Julia, Adrian Loved Up, Ashley James, Cup of Tea Records, Pip and Purple Penguin. That's a bit of a mouthful. And myself and Mr. Warman from Choice FM. So I always struggle to remember officially when I began on Choice, but I can see from here, it definitely was 96. I wasn't sure if it might have been 97, but 100% it was 96 because I also came up on a few other things as well. Let me just try and refresh this chat if I can, because I can't actually read some what's going down there because I tried to comment and it blocked me. Now I've deleted all the chats. What a knobhead. Right. Steve Jones. I remember DJing at places like Dust Till Dawn, The Engine House, and Abigail's. Aid says, it didn't have much to do with Charlie. I was at Picasso's and the Light Bar every Saturday during those times. Right, thank you for clarifying that. I can read them again, but I can't read anything that went before there. Okay, so what's this? This is the Marco's. I was, once I got in there, never take anything away from Joseph. It was always Joseph's baby. He was the guy who created the Sunday mornings. He was the one who actually got it to the madness that it was. But then I came in and I actually started helping out, and I was taken on full time by them. They used to pay me a wage every week, and I'd go in there in the daytime sometime and help out behind the bar. I'd design all the flyers for them, put the information together. We'd have to send it off to a designer to do the flyers. I'd come up with different concepts for different nights, and I'd also play whenever they needed me for that figure. So this is a flyer that we redesigned, possibly 97. This is my mate, Little Warren. Wrap yourself up in the festive spirit. I've showed these flyers before on my Facebook, but it's nice to talk about them out loud. And there's a whole lot of spiel there talking about how we renovated Marco's. Give it a little. Basically, I think they just cleaned the carpet and put some shitty new speakers in that weren't very good. The sound system in Marco's was never that great, to be honest. Emily's off to a meeting. Catch you later. Playing at the Engine House. Low ceiling with sweat dripping onto the decks. I thought the Engine House had a large ceiling because it was like an open thing, but I might be getting it mixed up. And Siobhan, Ladybird, DJ Ladybird says good morning. Okay, so this is Marco's. That's the front of the flyer, and then on the inside, as you can see, the weekly music program that myself and Joseph had a hand in putting together. And then my apologies to Matrix Professional Audio Systems, because I've just said the sound was always shit at Marco's. I just saw their name at the bottom. All the different nights going on. So Joseph and Leighton, myself, Wayne Good appearing on a lot of these. Okay, so it says the year on this. Andy Ward and Joseph taking you into 1996 with the biggest and best garage tunes of 1995. So there you go. Tuesday nights was a student night. Wednesday, Shock C is still there. Sparrow is still there. So I completely forgot that Shock C was at Marco's, because I got his Friday night from him eventually when I'd been at Choice for a little while. And then for whatever reason that I won't go into, I won't spot him up, but he was actually asked to leave Choice. And he used to do a drum and bass night on a Friday. So then I got his show, and it's really mad to see him on this flyer. So again, Joseph, Leighton and Wayne Good. Forgive me if Wayne sees this. I cannot picture Wayne in my mind for love nor money. Okay, let me carry on reading these. It was downstairs at the Engine House. Okay. Right, now Scotty's back off to work. What am I doing? I'm skipping forward to there. Spoilt. I'm not sure what this is. What's Spoilt? Okay, so maybe this is the back of this flyer here. Kiss every Thursday night, 9 p.m. until very late at the new XL's nightclub in Birmingham, up 5 ways. Matt Booker, Tony Sanchez and Ralph EP. Now, Ralph EP was the promoter of this event. He had his promotions, and he also had Sixth Sense Records. That's easy for me to say. Fairly certain. Steve Lawler, Tony Sanchez and Ralph EP. Myself and the same guys again, Carl Page. So as you can see, the first time I'm seeing Steve on a flyer, I was resident DJ with Steve Lawler at Marco Polo's. Bit of a claim to fame for myself, seeing as he went on to such massive acclaim. But we all knew Steve in Birmingham before he was anything. Mr. Blackwax, how are you, brother? There's a few flyers on here that you might find interesting, but at the moment we're currently around 93, 94, 95 in the Birmingham and Midlands area. Wolverhampton, here we go. Emily, This was 1997, 96, Thursday. I'm going to have to check this again. I did check it earlier, but I just want to make sure. October, Thursday, the 10th. That throws up 1996. There we go. So 1996, bringing you Underground Garage to the Midlands, weekly from Thursday, the 10th of October. Rhythm House. Myself headlining alongside Stevie Magic and Stingray, two of Wolverhampton's bad boys. It says London Underground and Midlands Underground. They're both from Wolverhampton. I think they were the guys promoting it. Wicked, wicked guys. I have zero memory of that party at all. As you'd expect. Okay, so next up, Destroy Records, Friday the 29th of March 1996 at the Q Club. Again, got absolutely no recollection of this whatsoever. Rob Farrell, Patrick Reed, I'm sorry, Smoothie, I didn't see you commenting there. I thought someone else was commenting. How are you, bad boy? You've already missed a couple of flyers with your name on. People will know. I give so much credit to Patrick for helping me hone my sound and really nail down onto the vocal US vibes. Patrick took me down to London, introduced me to loads of people, took me to Miami, introduced me to loads of people. Never ever will I get bored of saying that. So respect. Nice to have you here, my man. So Destroy Records 96, Party 01. The Q Club. Everyone knows about the Q Club. Legendary. Jim Shaffryan is asking me, when was my first Miss Moneypenny's gig? Good day, Jim. Miss Moneypenny's, of course, Birmingham's finest export and one of the most successful things to come out of the second city. Jim Ryan, resident DJ and promoter. I would hazard a guess and say it was 97, possibly, before I would have got on to a Moneypenny's flyer. 96 or 97. I don't actually have any. I have got another flyer, another folder somewhere with slightly later parties in, with Chuff Chuff on. Chuff Chuff was one of the pinnacles of, when I finally got onto a Chuff Chuff flyer, I was absolutely made. Held down regular residencies in the second room for Moneypenny's, and also the second room at Chuff Chuff's. Myself, Kiddo, Smoothie, always give Jim a lot of love for that, and of course the rest of his brothers. Aid, he says, I'm not the only one who can't remember most of the 90s, mate. It's all a complete blur, really. So let's crack on. Destroy Records. This is the party. Ryan, Tommy Slav, Martin Red, Andy Ward, Eve, Cindy Doll Carey. Sure, her name never appeared like that again on a flyer. Plus special guest. So 96 at the Q Club. This at the very bottom I can see. This is a once a month bash of Hard House. I wasn't playing Hard House. Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. Gordon Kay at the System nightclub. We spoke about the System nightclub with Nigel Reese a few weeks ago. Special guest Gordon Kay, Ian Warman and myself, Steve Cogan and Dino. And then downstairs is Sweat. That means absolutely nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. Aid, you've brought that conversation up once or twice in the past, about a 45-minute conversation being stuck in a phone box at a Chuff Chuff. Yeah. For some reason, my memories of much of the 90s is a bit of a blur. Must have been something I ate. Becky Jane. She says, Steve Cogan is my brother. Wow, look at that for wonderful timing. Make sure you tag him in this, and he can come back and check it out at 41 minutes into the video. Okay, so let me carry on. Absolute Zero. Now check this out. I talk about being proud to feature on a Chuff Chuff flyer. 1996, quite possibly the first time I played at the Ministry of Sound. Mixmag and Komodo present Absolute Zero, the event Cool and Free, Monday the 2nd of September at the Ministry of Sound. How chuffed was I to play here. Wall of Sound, John Carter, Propeller Heads, Derek DeLarge, Mark Jones, and then representing Release the Pressure, alongside Ricky Morrison, Dana Down and Danny Foster was little old yours truly. In room 3, Kev Beadle and Aqua Sky. And in room 4, Mixmaster Morris. Very, very, very proud of that. Although I've got zero recollection of it. Funny, right? Back to basics. Okay, now this was 1997. So let me go forward. This was the front of the flyer. Back to basics every Saturday at the Foundry, Gosford Street in Coventry. So this was Coventry, not Leeds. I did go and play up in Leeds quite a few times, but this was when they came down and tried something down in Cov. I don't think it worked for very long, if memory serves me correct. Siobhan is saying her dream to play at the Ministry of Sound. Keep dreaming, DJ Ladybird. You never know. So let me go back then. And it's nice to see so many of you enjoying this. Thank you for being here. The 22nd of March, Norman J and Carl Clark. Ian C on percussion. Shout out to Ian. Someone tag him. Myself and Lee Wright, Frankie Fawcett and Jazzy M, alongside a PA from the Serial Divas, Justin Robertson, Chris Coco and Rob Dallinson. That was a DJ party. 1997. J2, this is 1995. This is Junction 2 down, I believe it was in Dartford, just on the other side of that big bridge thingy there. I'm sure people down in Kent will remember Junction 2. It was a huge venue, and this was one of the... what's going on? Oh, I think my daughter's home. I thought I was getting burgled then. Junction 2, this was one of the biggest events that I got to play at on the flyer with Mr. Paul Oakenfold. So Pete Wardman, Dave Ralph, Paul Gardner, Loved Up and Theon. And I did Google this. This was 1995. It's funny how the flyers at the time didn't seem important, but now they are our memory joggers. I wish they jogged my memory, if I'm completely honest. I do remember this party, warming up for Paul Oakenfold. I also remember warming up somewhere exotic in Eastern Europe, warming up for Dave Seaman. And it was a rubbish party in a huge castle. There was hardly anybody there. And it made me feel really good, because I thought, well, if Dave Seaman can't bring any people to an event, then I'm not going to worry if I ever play at a quiet party again. So there you go. It's just something that sprang to mind. Forward this, I'll show you the front of the flyer first. This is Slag, infamous party in Birmingham. This every Friday. Okay, so Savage Promotions presents. This was at the Steering Wheel. Now, Jim, if you're still here, can you remind me? Slag used to be at Bonds, didn't it, before it moved to the Steering Wheel? Let me just check out some of these comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. No, right, I'm up to speed. Andy got to go. Nice chat. Nice one, Aid. Thank you for being here. Loved collecting them. Smoothie, if you've still got flyers, man, please take the photos and WhatsApp them to me, and I'll do the same again, and you and I can chat about this. So let's go and look at the back of the flyer. Slag's Vibrant Atmosphere. Slag stands for straight, lesbian and gay. So this actually reminds me, I am going to be doing a talk in the not too distant future discussing the really vibrant gay scene in Birmingham. We all used to play at many of the gay events, many of the gay venues, the really super gay venues we used to go and play at. And I'm going to be talking about that in the not too distant future. So Slag, I was a resident, a regular appearance for Slag. I think eventually I did become resident for them. No, it was at the Steering Wheel first. Okay. So maybe I'm getting mixed up with Fuel. So Slag was always at the Steering Wheel. Or did it go from the Steering Wheel and then move to... Because I definitely can remember Pat at Miss Moneypenny's one evening falling over and smashing the glass on the front of the DJ booth. I'm fairly certain that was a Slag event. Yes, Rupert, the man like Rude Boy. How are you, sir? I'll be talking to Rupert, talking about his journey. Well, actually, we've already talked about his journey once. We're going to be catching up on everything that he's doing now and having a Chili Funk special. Okay, so Smoothie's saying it was the Steering Wheel and then it went to Bonds, so it must have outgrew the Steering Wheel. anyway, you can see here Danny Jones, Owen Owens, Nick Thompson, John Hollis and myself, Simon Baker, Colin Dredd, Scott Bond and Mistress Mo, John Kelly and Owen Owens. So Smith and Jones were the residents, as was Owen Owens, and Mistress Mo eventually would become resident DJ. Tape packs and all of that at the bottom. Downstairs, fuel was upstairs. Okay. Are you sure? I'm not questioning. I am questioning you. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying that that doesn't ring familiar to me at all. But I'm sure you're correct. Hello. Yes, I'd love a decaf. Thanks, darling. My lovely wife is asking me if I want a drink. So let's carry on. Cream, the big one. Another flyer I was absolutely ecstatic to be involved with. Cream, choose right, easy and mellow. Established 1990. We flip this over and who do we see? The man like Patrick Smooth, resident DJ for Cream, Mark Jarman, Colin Dredd, Owen Owens. Yours truly. So this was one of the much later flyers for Cream because Cream was running a lot before I got involved. I used to be a regular party animal at Cream, but I didn't appear on the flyer until much later down the line. So Paul Chiswick, Menage a Trois, and the Funky Bus. Smoothie saying my baby. Yes, definitely. Man like Smoothie put Cream on the map. Thank you, love. As did many other people. Two Until You Curdle. So Cream was an after party people used to go to. It was kind of competition with Wobble, friendly competition with Wobble. Most of the promoters in Birmingham were all good friends. And so they were able to get their own different crowds, and the music policy reflected Cream was more on the soulful tip with the likes of Smoothie playing and a little bit more, I wouldn't say handbag house because now that has negative connotations, but more uplifting party music. And whereas Wobble with Phil Gifford at the helm did used to take it more on sort of like a deeper tip. With some of the DJs that they would have. We've covered all of these conversations on several occasions with the promoters. So let me flick this. I thought there was two different flyers there. Bank Holiday Special, Hobnobs, in conjunction with Birmingham All-Star DJ lineups. Saturday, August the 29th in Leamington. Let me just go and have a look and see what year this was. August. Saturday. So again, if anybody's ever got any flyers or they see photographs and all it's got on it is a day, a date and a month, if you go to this flyer, this website address, easycalculation.com, date, day, yeah, or just Google, find a year from a day and a date. So it is quite difficult to find. I forgot about that. easycalculation.com, date, day. Any flyers that you've got, put the day and the date in and the month and it will tell you the year. And on here this is saying 1992. I've got a choice here between 1992 or 1998. So let me see who's on the other side. Playing the most awesome selection of club classics to be heard in the Midlands. Matt Booker, Mickey Rose, Carlos, Andy Ward, Sean Bowditch, Margin Red. That should be Martin Red. So I would say this is 92 rather than 98 because I wasn't playing with these guys in 1998. I don't think. I could be wrong. Yeah. I'm not being blind, am I? It doesn't say a year on there. No. Branston's membership card. Mayhem in May. This is a Marco Polo flyer. So this, I would say, is 93, possibly. Ian Fox, Mark Jarman, Neil Tandy, Jules, Dave Simmons, myself, and Steve Lawler were listed as guests, but we were resident DJs. Eric Powell, Scott and Cy from Wolverhampton, representing Cleveland City, Tony DeVee and Cy Owen. Chuff Chuff resident DJ. So I'm going too fast here. Bamboozle at Buns, a Thursday night. This was something that was tried. I don't think it might have been a one-off actually. Thursday, the 30th of May, 1996, Cutting Records, Danny Buddha Morales. That was the first time I would have met Danny, and we became good friends after that. Myself alongside DJ Cheyenne. That's a complete blur. Complete blur. Cheyenne, DJ Cheyenne. That's the name. That they definitely changed the name to something else afterwards. Right, I'm getting towards the end almost now. 12 nights. This, I don't think there's a front of the flyer. Oh, no, there is. Going the wrong way. Would they pack it in? 12th night, Burlesque. Robert Owens, Victor Simonelli, Tom Wainwright, Chris and James, John De Silva, Mark Jarman, John Hollis, Andy Ward, Jem Atkins, and a very special guest to be confirmed. And that was at the Q Club. That's an incredible lineup, and I don't remember any of it at all. There's no date on there. There's no day, is there? Yeah, I didn't take a copy of the I didn't take a scan of the front of the flyer. So, but that's amazing. Robert Owens, Victor Simonelli, Tom Wainwright. Can't believe I don't remember playing with those guys on that party. Trust. This is at the Backstage in Wolverhampton, Sunday the 26th of February. I'd say this was 96. Richie Roberts, shout out Richie. I know Richie catches a lot of my streams. Dave Gerard, Paul Bird, and myself. Dress code, do be kind. I haven't been home since Friday, Gov. And the music policy, go home to bed if you want to sleep. Shouts out to Mark Hogg saying, yes, some line up that. Wasn't it just, mate? Wasn't it just? Big up to Mark Hogg. Manchester Massive in the place. Slamming Boys representing. Another of the UK's finest who helped forge the sound. And it was because of the likes of Mark that we would have been able to get parties like that up and running around the country. So big up to yourself. Right, let's crack on. This was another one of the earlier flyers that I got on. Grimsby, a regular DJ, a regular punter from Marco's, really loved what I did, and he was friends with somebody up at the waterfront in Grimsby. The party was called Milk, so a big shout out to Dave for making that happen. I haven't spoken to Dave for 20 odd years, but respect for getting me this gig anyway. I went up there on the waterfront, and it's the right one. December 1995. Andy Ward, Marco Polo's and the Mud Club, Girls on Top, Anthony Papa, a Progress Christmas party with Pete and Russell, and then Gordon Kay. Dean Baker was the resident DJ. I remember the venue. I also remember going and playing up in Grimsby at a place called Henry Africa's, where we DJ'd in what looked like a big cauldron. I don't think that was that was two different parties. I went and played up there quite a few times actually. I got good money for that. You play in Birmingham, pull a figure out of thin air. I don't know if I got paid 75 quid, 100 quid, and then I go and play somewhere like this and get 300 quid. I'll be like, oh my God, amazing. I've made it. So yeah, let's crack on. Contrive. Scott's gone, but I know he's going to come back and check out the recording. This is a wicked looking flyer. That's Scott and Jem. Actually, Dean Smith. I'm not sure if you're still with me, Dean. Dean Smith and Scott was the resident DJs. Where was this at? This was at the venue in Walsall. Myself as the guest on the 3rd of March. So this is probably 94 or 95. Can't believe you charged 300 quid, Mr. Bartlett says. What, you saying I wasn't worth it? What was I saying? Yeah, 10th of March. Mark Rowley, Daryl B, 17th of March, 31st of March, Moist, Jules and Phil Jeffries. So Friday the 24th of March. Let me see what year this would have been. Again, if you're just coming in, there's a website that you can, if you know the day, the date and the month, you can check out what year it is. 95, that would have been. Yeah, 95. Okay. Where are we getting to? Another one. Very, 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 very proud at. Camden Palace. Pleasure at the Palace. Entertaining you in style with a change of season soiree. This was a party sponsored by Blue Jeans and Grosh. Let's see what's on here. There we go. Pleasure at the Palace, a night of pure and adulterated garage and house revelry. Ricky Morrison, Dean Savant, Mark Fenton, yours truly, Danny Foster, T. Smith, Mark D, Jason Petrel, Ian Gordon, Danny Harrison, Danny Harris, Paul French, and Lee Clover. Yes. Another big lineup. I did a big talk with Mr. Gary Dillon from Release the Groove, Released for Pleasure. Thank you, Gary, for getting me on those. What's this one? Check this flyer out. Let me just leave that there for a little bit for you while I take a swig on my decaf. I mean, is that the worst flyer you've ever seen in your life? Okay, let me go back. This was 1995, the Sometime People Present. This was put on by some regular guys who used to come to Marco's a lot of the time. Patrick was the head promoter. Smoothie, you remember Patrick, right? He was a huge fan of everything that I did, a big supporter, and this was an event that we were, myself and Ian Rose were put on as resident DJs. Didn't really amount to much. I'm not sure if they did a few parties or just the one. Paul Bird and Washington, G-Max, Betts, Mike Rose, and Ian Woolman. 95 into 96 at the steering wheel. Yeah, they did a few parties, but then it fizzled out, I think. Steve Reed says Jason Petrel was a local lad. He went to school with me. Okay, nice. Where are we now? Garage City, S Paradise in Ibiza, 1997. Was this the first year I went to Ibiza? Quite possibly. 96 or 97 was the first year I myself went to Ibiza. Check out this lineup. Lee Wright, Rob Wallace, myself, Bobby and Steve, Spoonie, and Matt Sam Lamont. You heard of him? With a pre-party at the Cafe Del Mar. I remember, can't even explain what it's like to be an up-and-coming DJ, getting to play at Ibiza, getting to go behind the decks and play some music at the Cafe Del Mar, and then going to play at Es Paradis as well. As time would progress, I would start to take it a little for granted. I remember playing absolutely blind drunk one time. Again, a story I've told many times down the years. Blind drunk. If you remember Es Paradis, you had to go up into the DJ booth. So drunk. Finished my set. Put my records back in the box. Lifted the box up. Leant back. And then just fell down the stairs at the DJ booth. The good old days. Rupert is saying Es Paradis was amazing. Of course it was. Rupert, resident DJ for Garage City, of course. And then the some of the after parties as well. As the years progressed, the legendary parties at Star Bar and so on and so forth with Rob Ibiza Wallace. I remember being in the office one time and Rob getting taken down a peg or two for having it a little bit too large in Ibiza. Big up Mr. Wallace. That's all I'll say. Jack, DJ Mystery saying, Matt Sam Lamont. Is that the one where you fell behind the decks? Yeah. Smoothie remembers it, right? Told ya. I don't make these things up. Okay. So what's this one? I mentioned earlier on about the huge gay scene in Birmingham that were fed a lot of the clubs. And Tintin's was probably the most famous club in Birmingham on the gay circuit. And I actually just jumped onto a Birmingham clubbing history page, and there's loads of photographs in there. So the fourth weekend in May, 100 messages I've just received. Thank you. So where was I? Here. So on the back of this, this was probably 94 or 95. Let me just double check. Thursday, the 19th of, does it give me a month? May. Did I just say May? Let me just go and check. So Thursday, the 19th of May. If there's a year on there, you'll have to forgive me because I'm trying to do 1,000 different things. Thursday, 19th of May, 94. So this is 1994. Thursday nights. John Kelly and Phil Gifford. Kitsch Bitch. Back when you could get people out on a Thursday night. Friday night, Paul Andrews, Mark Jarman, Jules and myself and Aaron Mann. Aaron Mann was the resident DJs, as was Mark Jarman and Jules from time to time. Regular DJs, Paul Andrews and Mark Jarman. Hype was the huge party there. Tony DeVete, regular appearance. Simon Baker, Dave Simmons and Paul Andrews. And then on the Sunday night, we'd go over there after Marco's, Tim Knight, Aaron Mann, and I was the special guest DJ on the 22nd of May. And it says at the bottom, Tintins is a gay venue promoting positive attitudes about our sexuality and lifestyle. I used to love it in there. There was actually a picture of me up on the wall in Tintins. I was their favourite gay DJ. Yeah, Freudian slip. I'm not even going to bother correcting myself. Right, let's carry on. The Breakfast Club. This was something that I tried in Gorsty Hall near Crewe on what day was it? A Sunday morning, 1995. I got talking to the guy who was from that area, and we wanted to try and emulate the success of Marco's, so we thought we would do something up there. That was the front of the flyer. Actually, no, that is the front and the back of the flyer. I don't think there's any lineups on there. I'm completely lying, as we can see on the back. The write-up there, put together by myself, Richard Croft, Andy Ward and D Mill. I forgot all about D Mill. Mark Rowley and Jim Jamoa, Jules and Phil Morley, Mikey B from Top Buzz, Darren Webster, Deluxe, our mate DJ Deluxe, Errol Russell and Adam TC. A cheese-free establishment. That never really amounted to anything. We tried a thing, but it didn't work. It did not work. Okay, back to Bubble Flyers. Is there a front to that? No, there isn't. Bubble again, Friday the 8th of July. Some names: Jason Payne, Jules, Jarman Tandy, Ian Fox, Andy Ward, Graham War, Tony Sanchez, John Hollis, spelt wrong. I don't know when he took the H out of his name. Burst Your Bubble on Friday. So this was maybe the beginning. Oh, I don't know. It's all I keep saying it's all a bit of a blur, isn't it? James Dean, Pete McKenzie and John Turnbull. This was something in Miami that I played at Delore Music House versus Hip Hop in 2003. Todd Terry, Frank Delore, Dove, Wayne Williams and myself. 2003. We'd already been going to Miami for 6 years by then. A man like Smoothie took me over. Me and Rupert chuckling the other day at the video that I posted of us in, what year was that? 97? The less said about that, the better. Messy. Who's this young pup? Bank holiday special. This was down in Northampton. Straight from the Masters at Work party at the Ministry of Sound. Andy joins us for a storming bank holiday session at Lux. This photo was taken behind the decks upstairs at Moneypenny's for my residency. I remember it. I remember the photo being taken. It was actually meant to be a tongue-in-cheek photo, but then I used it on all the flyers after that. Vega at the Fontainebleau was epic. Yes, Mark, talking about those days. Lots of great memories and heritage. Easy Ben, thank you for passing through. Thank you for commenting. Yeah, just enjoying a little trip down memory lane while I have the information here. So the flyer on the back supported by Rick Moran. And then carrying on from Terry Hunter, Soul Heaven resident Andy Ward, widely recognised as the Midlands' leading Soulful House DJ. There you go. So, Smoothie, I beat ya. Oh, I'm joking. Smoothie will always be the Midlands' leading Soulful House DJ. It's just that I was the most vocal. I was the most active. I was the one on the radio. So people used to put that on the flyer, but I'll always give it to Smoothie without a shadow of a doubt. So yeah, shout out to Ali if you see this, my friend, and Rick Moran. More asking us for our tapes. You know that. I think this is the last one now. Soul Heaven. I was resident DJ from Soul Heaven from its beginnings until I was going to say until it closed, but that's a complete lie because it's still going. It's not the Soul Heaven it was. There's a million reasons why. I'd love to have a conversation and find out the direction that it took and why it took it, but that's a different stream. Here we can see the 21st of May 2004. My French is useless, but I'm sure les soirées Soul Heaven sont devenues les plus grandes soirées du célèbre Ministry of Sound. So I think that's saying Soul Heaven is one of the biggest parties at the Ministry of Sound, the great musical quality music graced by celebrities with the resident DJs, Phil Asher, Spen, Hunter, Vega, Kenny Dope. Forgot to mention me there as a resident DJ. As you can see, myself, Neil Pearce, and myself and Neil Pearce. Whatever. Yeah. There we go. Promoting the Masters at Work in the House release on Soul Heaven, and that was at the was this? I think it might have been at Queen. So Pure. No, it must have been at Pure. Pure must have been the name of the venue. I don't know. It's all a blur. Big up to Neil P, of course. Travelled around the world with Neil on many occasions. And there we are, back to the Venus membership card. So that'll tie in beautifully, actually. If you enjoyed that trip down memory lane, on Monday night, I'll be talking to Christian Woodgett and Sam Barry, the manager of Venus. If you're watching this at some point in the future, then ignore what I just said. Go and take a look through my videos and search it out. Brummer's Fuck is the name of the playlists. The Soulful House Mafia is the name of another playlist where you'll find a whole heap of incredible interviews that recap on a lot of those parties I've just spoken about, and loads of other content. youtube.com/DJ Andy Ward. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I'd just say to any final shout outs, Mike and Jamie really repped in Manchester as the slamming parties. They gave us Southerners our soulful fix. Respect to you all. Indeed, they did. Indeed, they did. And Ben, I did a great conversation with Mark and Jamie. So if you're at all interested, do a search for Slamming Boys Andy Ward on my YouTube and you'll find that. Okay, I'm out of here. You be good to yourselves now. Later.